from Detroit, Michigan, USA. In My House, hosted by T. Carlita, where the true stories are told and great music is played. Welcome to another episode of the In My House Techno Music Show. I am your host, T. Carlita, and this week I present to you another virtual out the house experience with Detroit producer Keith Tucker, aka K1. Most of you know him as one of the founding members of the Detroit electronic band Aux 88. And did you know that he is also a DJ too? On this week's episode, you will get an inside look into his production headquarters, better known as the Optic Nerve Studio, and get to know his independent productions outside of Aux 88. Also on this episode, new music from Robert Hood and Detroit's Filthiest. But before we begin our conversation with Keith Tucker, here's new music produced by the Don of Detroit Ghetto Tech, Detroit's Filthiest, aka Julian Shamow, DJ Nasty, 313 Bass Mechanics, or Digital. I guess it depends on the production moment or the mood he's in. So here's Groove Junkie from the 4-track EP, Please Play Again, on the Field Tracks label, which is actually out now on vinyl. You are In My House, hosted by T. Carlita, where the true stories are told and great music is played.
3, 1, 3.
stories are told and great music is played. Welcome to the show, and thank you for being part of my virtual out the house experiences. I've been watching you, and I'm like, I got to get inside that studio, man. How you doing over there?
I'm doing all right. I've finally got a chance to make the studio what I've always wanted and dreamed of, and it keeps me busy and keeps me motivated.
Besides your morning walks, because I've been keeping up with you too. You what do you call that? Self-care. We're all walking now.
I'm taking care of myself. I'm just happy. I don't want no negativity in my life. Live it to the fullest, and just doing what I'm supposed to do. I realized when this pandemic happened, because we travel so much.
Yeah.
We didn't realize how much you depend on that money.
Right.
So my thing was this: we're supposed to be recording artists, so roll up your sleeves and work on music. Yeah, so that's helped because we have our own label that we created where we put out all our classic releases, Direct Beat Classic. So
right.
And I have my own label, so now I've been busy for like the last 5 months just creating, and I just decided, like, you know what, I've been putting so much time into everything related to AUX88. It's time to focus on me, right? Because I just have to do this because I don't want to be. We're pretty known, but it's a lot of people who don't know who we are because we don't really put ourselves out there. We're not around a lot, you know what I mean? And I'm like, I want to change all that for myself.
That's right. I've been talking to quite a few people since we've been on break. I mean, you just think about this. We've been on this stay-at-home order since March.
Yeah.
A long time, and, a lot of the DJs, they can't get gigs. So they're doing Facebook Lives between the mutes and cutoffs to just stay active, right? But I noticed a lot of DJs are now getting more into making music because they know, okay, I can't gig, but I still got to eat, right?
Yeah.
And music is the whole thing. So your studio is like it's like the mothership. It's a lair, it's a lab. I don't know what to call it. So that is the Optic Nerve that I'm looking at right now.
Like I always was that kid who liked sci-fi, like most guys who do from Detroit that do techno music. We were really into sci-fi. So me and my wife, we actually got our first home like almost 3 years ago, and we looked around for a place that would have the room that I could build my studio just the way I want, because this is the very last one. I'm not moving again. So I took my time and made it just the way I wanted, and then I have a daughter that's in her last year of college. So, I was able to buy gear and just set it to the side before we moved in. So it was all pre-planned. Plus I have an engineering background and architecture. So I know how to make the plans and all that stuff. So that's why I'm so good. I was always really good with AUX88 because I did all the planning, everything out for everything on paper, shows, everything that we do. So
take us through the space there. Kind of just walk us through a day in K1's studio. Like what is all that we're looking at, man? That's high tech.
Well, first of all, this is my 3 monitors. I use Cubase for all my music. Here's my mixing board, which is a PreSonus. Then I have synthesizers over here. Then I have a spot right here where I can just sit back and relax, a little couch.
You got an old Commodore computer in there, or is that an old Apple?
It's actually an Apple. That's
the original Mac.
That's my first computer that I had when I first started doing techno music. So I kept it for display. I even have all the original songs on disc, the original disc drives and stuff. Here's where my turntables is, and then here's where my office is. The office is right there.
Wow, so that's beautiful space, man.
Thank you.
That is really nice. And that's where you say hard work and dedication, it pays off, because now we're kind of at home. We don't know when you're going to be able to travel again.
Right.
But music don't stop, does it?
No, but what I realized was I didn't work on, even when I had this, I didn't work on music that much. You know what I mean? It was like, I remember Mike Banks used to say that, man, you guys need to get somebody to manage y'all so y'all can, you're supposed to be in the studio all the time. And it's like, he is so right. It's like, now I make it a thing. I'm in here at least 8 hours a day, even after I work out. So it's like, my music is better and I have a lot more input. And now since people see that I'm a little bit more, sharing of how to get in contact and everything. Now I got remix jobs from all over the world, so that's keeping me busy. And then I was able to, within the last 6 months, I have 22 releases. When I say, people think I mean like 22 tracks. No, that means 22 releases, 3 tracks for each one. So I do all the artwork. I got a gun.
You trying to catch up with Gary Romales. Y'all the hardest working brothers down in y'all's lair that I can think of, man.
Yeah. I mean, because I started thinking like, it's for the future. Like for the next 5 to 6 years, I want to make sure that I have plenty of output. And me and Black Tony were talking, and we made a pact that, he knows where all my songs is, and my wife. Like if something was to happen, we could continue on and make sure that stuff's gonna come out, that type of stuff. So we're thinking like that. You never know. You never know when your time is. And it's like, hey, I don't need no more drama. Right. So that's why I'm down here, and I make sure I have a smile on my face every day. And it's been a blessing because sometimes you can be in the studio, that don't mean you're creating anything. But I've been able to like literally come in sometimes when I have a remix job, I'm working on something. I'm actually creating a remix and creating a new song at the same time. Right. So I'm like, just on it, learn more about how to record. Normally we be booked to do so many shows that I don't even have a chance to, be in the studio that much.
So what, as far as the stay-at-home orders, wear the mask and all that stuff, where do you think how do you think the industry is going to revive itself? Like in your visual thoughts, where's this going? Is it all going to just be, this is it, we're going to Zoom, we're going to do virtual, so many, like all the festivals are virtual? Well, where's the money coming from though?
I think what's going to happen is you have to literally say to yourself, is going out to make money worth risking your life for? Because none of those big festivals are going to, they're going to have you sign a waiver saying that if you get corona, they're not liable.
Right.
They're actually, me and Tony was laughing about this, Black Tony. We saw some advertisements on the internet about this this suit that you can wear.
Oh yeah.
It's not far-fetched because some of these festivals, they have so much money in the world.
Yeah.
You never know. They might have it where that's included in the price where, you get this particular suit, you can come on in and you never know. Somebody might do it. But I personally am looking at it like, not to be negative, but like I'm thinking about like not even going back out. What would it be like if I could never get back out? So keep doing what I'm doing. You know what I mean? But I don't know. It's really kind of hard to say because if they do come up with a cure, I hope they do.
That we're not even want to take.
That's why I was going to get into that. I don't know about trying that.
I don't know. It's just like when they, it's just like when they reopened the various whatevers. I still haven't gone anywhere. All I do, I go to the grocery store, I walk around the track, and I bring my butt right back home, and I'm good. I don't visit nobody. Very few visitors. The biggest thing that I had, and the only reason why we had something was the memorial of my grandson. That was the only thing we had over here, and that was a balloon send off. But trust and believe, I had masks and hand sanitizer for anybody that came over here with no mask on. Everybody had to wear a mask over here. I was not playing with that.
My condolences. My condolences on that.
Thank you. Yeah, little baby, he was day before his 6 months. The crib death. Yeah, and so you can't have. That's the thing. This whole virus thing, especially you can't have funerals. You can't have birthday parties. You can't really, the ones that are taking it serious, we're really not doing anything. But everybody else around us that's out here, like, I'm just so confused. The world we living in is so strange. But when you think about how prophetic Detroit techno and Detroit music, like you guys' music, Aux 88 music, your Optic Nerve music. You think about, because I have an Optic Nerve. No, wait, no, that's not. It's done by you guys. But who was
Alien
Black
FM.
Tokyo? Black Tokyo. Oh, I got that too. I got that too.
That's AUX 88. That's
Okay.
Black Tokyo. Yep.
So
Yep.
I have Black Tokyo. I have the Alien FM, and I look at all of the, I guess they're sci-fi, right?
Yep.
All of that digitized things, and just think about how old those records are. But look where we are right now. I mean, look at your lab, look at your studio.
Yeah.
When you first started, look at that computer that you used on your first
I know.
hit, right?
Yep.
And now look at all the stuff that you have to have now. So we all have to, you know, home is our castle, our studio is where we are. So we have to do. So what would you say to up and coming artists who probably don't have they just want to get started? What would be a good starting point for them? Because digital, like you go on Facebook, you go to search for something, you Google search, right? And all of a sudden your Facebook feed is filled up with everything that you look for. So if you're a DJ and you're looking for synthesizers, now you got all these synthesizer ads in your feed. It's just like, you ever know, I notice in my feed.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yep.
I have all these
on the searches.
Yeah, the algorithm or whatever. You know, they got DJ rugs. You seen the cool ones with the DJ turntable rugs and drapes?
Yes.
They know what we're doing, but what would you advise an up and coming person that's just, I want to get a studio. I want to put some equipment in my studio, and I go to Google search, and now my algorithm is full of all this stuff. What would you say to somebody that, you know, trying to get started?
Oh, well, now it's easier and cheaper because they can get programs like Fruity Loops, which is, you know, you can put that on your
around. Oh, I remember that.
Oh yeah, Fruity Loops. A lot of hip hop artists.
I used to play with that a while ago. I could never figure it out though.
Yeah, I mean it does exactly what I do here, just on a laptop, and you can incorporate other equipment. It's not expensive. So that's the plus now with music. You don't have to have a lot of money, you know. I think for me, like people say with the monitors, for me, it's because of my sight. I want to be able to see everything, but I want to also be able to sit back and relax and be able to see it. But for the person who's just starting, get you a little laptop, a little Fruity Loops program, and Reason by Propellerhead. They don't cost that much, you know, and you can do music right with headphones, right out there. But what I would tell people a lot of times, you really need to listen to other people's music. You need to, if you're gonna do a specific type of music, try to learn the history, try to learn a little bit about it, because it will help you with getting your ear together and know what you want to do. Because there's nothing that you can do that hasn't already been done. So all you're doing is borrowing something from everybody else. And when you grab all those pieces together, you can create something that you kind of have of your own. Everybody can kind of tell your style. So I always tell people that, oh man, I know a guy, he came up with a whole new, it's from somebody else. I mean, you can't do, there's no note you can hit that's different that hasn't been hit, you know? So I always tell people, if you want to do it, man, learn your history, especially if you're trying to go into DJing, because you can have the greatest equipment or whatever, but if you don't have the music, you know, it means nothing. And a lot of these DJs can't get a lot of these classic songs because they've never been digitized, you know, put up for digital download. But it's still good hope. I know a lot of people say negative things about people just starting and how they're killing the genre, but you're always gonna find somebody in there who's really good and studies and knows what they're doing. So I would say,
you just think about when you guys got started. I mean, when Aux 88 first got started, you guys came out with a sound that's just like, everybody knows it. Like if you hear AUX, you just know what that is. And the beat, the bass, the thump, and that's signature to you guys. And it's really carried the trends for a long time. I mean, y'all set that bar out the gate. And I know it wasn't easy getting started.
No, I mean, we were doing, everybody loved Cybertron. Yeah. But at the moment, at that time, there was nobody else doing anything like that. So we were like, you know what? We love that music. That's what we do. So let's try to continue on. I think that's what helped us and the group Drexia. We were the only groups at the time that was doing anything new, maybe besides the Egyptian Lover out on the West Coast or whatever, but that helped us. But what we started doing was, like I said before, we grabbed something from everybody. We like Kraftwerk, we like Cybertron, we like Parliament Funkadelic, but we like to make sure that what we did differently than most people, we've concentrated on trying to make songs so that if a person went to a record store, you didn't have a problem, you know, we could say, well, yeah, the song that says My AUX Mind, because we did vocals. And we learned that really quick. That was one way you can make sure people always knew your records. And so when we started performing on a lot more gigs, we were surprised at how many people, when we went out, you know, overseas, they knew the lyrics and everything. So
isn't that funny how you could go to a foreign country, they cannot speak English whatsoever, but they know the lyrics to an American song straight through, don't they? It's like, wow, do they really know what they're saying? But
I know you're very good friends with Klaus Backer. He helped me early on when I first started. He was one of the first people that used to bring me over to DJ.
Wow. Close in the hole. I mean, that close in the holes. Man, I really, you know, the Movement Festival this year has been so I don't know, it's so depressing to a point because you can't control what happened and everything, but you know how May, whether you go to the festival, don't go to the festival, you know, we plan, that's in this industry that we're in, we look forward to May. Like, we know our friends are coming over here to hang out. That just did not happen. And I know I feel like I don't know, it's like, dang, now we gotta wait till next year and hopefully the way things are going,
it is something it's something about that time. Everybody is really happy, and you know, you're right. Like, a lot of people come over. I've had friends come over from different countries, you know, come and hang out. They're not even here to perform. They just want to come over and hang out, you know.
Exactly.
So yeah, it is something weird in the air. But like I tell everybody, hey, this stuff might have happened for a reason. It's 2020. It might have made people wake up to appreciate everything that we got. Because a lot of artists aren't really doing anything because they feel like, well, I'm just gonna wait for this to blow over. You see all these big major artists, R&B singers, they on their social media hard every day.
Yeah, they are. Yes, they are.
You got to keep it going. So that's the same thing with the festival. I mean, they already have a plan, I think, for September. They're trying to do it in September, but I think it's not going to happen. It'll probably be a virtual. Probably it's going to be a streaming show or whatever.
Like
we were supposed to play
they did in May.
we were supposed to play. We were supposed to play the opening night, like at a club for the festival this year, because we usually don't play that much the festival. They don't really ask us, and we always try to be in it every year, but they don't ask us.
Do you think that you guys don't get the invites because you're a group? So now it's like they gotta manage, but you know what, it didn't matter though.
We've always been kind of cocky though, because what they'll tell us, they told us in the past, like, well, we had you guys, you know, the year before, and if you come again, it'll be the same show. It's like, no. When AUX 88 plays Detroit, our hometown, we bring it. They don't like probably dealing with us, because when we bring it, we're gonna bring the dancers, we're gonna bring a show. We always say it's like, it's our halftime Super Bowl show. They used to laugh at that. But if we're gonna come back home, we're gonna do it right. But you know, a lot of times that's what it is. They don't want to have anything any different than what they're already doing. Like, they don't need a bunch of people on stage. They want to know if it's just gonna be me and Tom, or is it gonna be the other members, or you know, whatever. And we like, nah, you're not gonna dictate that to us, so we just won't play. Wow. But we want to always make sure. But what we always like though, whenever we play in Detroit, you'll always see a couple of people backstage. Even if they're supposed to be playing somewhere else, Juan Atkins always comes backstage to check us out. You know, Carl Craig, a lot of these guys, they know. That's one thing we pushed early on when we first got signed to the label. When we were working, we wanted to do live shows back in the day, like around 92, 93. And they were like, no, we just need, who's the DJ of the group? We just need that person to go out and DJ. And we were like, and that was me. So I was like, I don't want to be known as a DJ. I'd rather be known as an artist because that'll last long. You know, there's tons of DJs, and I know in Detroit, we got some of the baddest in the world. So
yeah, for sure.
what sets me apart?
And you know what's interesting? I'm glad you brought that up because I knew you as Aux 88. Right. I didn't even know you DJ'd, and I seen you at Bang Tech 12 a few years ago.
Yeah.
On the roof. I was like, this dude is a DJ. Oh my God. You kept it on that roof. I was like, wow, okay. So K1 is the DJ name, huh?
Yeah, it's the DJ name, and that's what I started doing the electro stuff under that name on my solo stuff. But early on, they were always like, "Well, man, we just
know the logo. What's the logo? Let me see.
Oh, the K. Yeah, that's the K1. People always think it means I'm saying I'm number one. You know, it just means it's like a model number. Like you know, I'm the K-1 model. You know, first model.
Yeah. And I think that everybody still follows, I would say, the UR, with the numbers. And that's so important because once you do that number system, that just defines you and separates you because that belongs to you. Nobody else can take that.
Right.
They might use the K1, but it won't be the same K1.
Right.
It can belong to somebody else, but it definitely won't be well, that's not the K1 I know who he is. Wow. Well, we're gonna take a break.
Okay.
I pay a couple of bills. And then when we come back, I want to talk about what in the heck are you working on right now? I see blinkers going on.
Oh yeah.
I want to know. We want to know what have you
actually,
been
you know
doing?
what? I'll let you hear a little bit of it.
Save that. That's what I want. That's what I'm talking about. This is T. Carlita for the In My House Techno Music Show. We will be right back. And guess what? We're going to get a teaser from out of the Optic Nerve, one of the baddest labs I've seen yet. We will be right back. T. Carlita and K1. Optic Nerve, Aux 88. Look him up if you don't know who he is. Be right back.
You are In My House, hosted by T. Carlita, where the true stories are told and great music is played.
Welcome, Judge Mathis. Thanks for coming to share an important message with the Wayne County taxpayers.
Well, thank you for allowing me to help. You know, most of my life I was a resident of Wayne County, and so I'm here to help because Treasurer Shabri wants to work with Wayne County homeowners to keep families in their homes and prevent foreclosure.
If you're having trouble making your property tax payments, let us know. We have many resources to help.
Take the first step towards staying in your home by going down to the Wayne County Treasurer's office on the 5th floor of the International Building in Greektown.
Stop by today to learn more about our payment plans and especially the newly extended interest rate reduction program.
Already in the payment plan? It's important you stay in good standing.
Making property tax payments is now easier than ever. We have placed payment kiosks in Rite Aid stores and community centers across the county. We've also added kiosks in our offices. Contact us at 313-224-5990 or email us at taxinfo@waynecounty.com.
So we're back. It's T. Carlita back with K1. And we were just having a cool little conversation off topic here, during the break. And let's talk about the K1 agenda. Yeah. So K1, Keith, that's your initial, the one. So where did that come from and what does that represent? What is the K1 agenda all about?
Okay, I started DJing like when I was like in middle school. Used to tell my mom to spending the weekend on my friend's house. I was doing after-hour joints. I was doing spinning and stuff because I had bought equipment and everything. But it started from there. I used to be called KK1, and I always thought of it as like a model number, you know, of an Android or whatever. But the K1 Agenda was the first record I put out on as a solo artist on Direct Beat, which was the label that was owned by the Burton brothers, who are Octave One. Yeah. And they were being distributed by Submerge, which is owned by Mike Banks. So I did the track in '95, and I'm just re-releasing it. It comes out in July, which we've already sold out of it before it even comes out to all the record stores. So I just took it like, you know what? It's the reason why this happened. K1 Agenda 2020. I'm coming out. I'm like really busy making a lot of music. So I'm like, hey, it's time for the K1 agenda into the future.
Okay.
Mhm.
So take us back on that tour in that beautiful studio over there. And you know, purple, that's my favorite color. So I really fell in love with all that aura you got going on over there.
Yeah,
So
thank
you
you.
got a little teaser for us. Set this up for us. What are we getting ready
Okay,
to hear?
I'm doing a remix for the Exaltics, and it's a electro group out of Berlin. And he just gave this to me about 3 weeks ago, and I have to turn it in October. I'm actually almost finished with it. I wrote some lyrics yesterday. I haven't recorded the vocals yet, but I can let you hear it. He hasn't even heard it yet, so.
Uh-oh.
It's
It's a real preview, y'all.
Machine. Okay. Yeah.
That's
So
a nice
some
little teaser there.
Yeah, some drums and some strings, and I'm actually doing something similar to I'm trying to add like a little craft work
Okay.
and a little bit of AUX88 style. I just want to make it funky because what he gave me is more of a Miami bass, old loop style.
Okay.
It's really kind of like that, and I'm like, nah, they always tell me, man, we want that Detroit funk on it, and I'm gonna give it to you.
There's that F word again. Let me tell you, that F word is something else. The funk.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody. Okay, Hump the Grinder. I have to just digress for a half a second, because we always have this debate on techno house, and Hump was like, look, it's fast funk to me.
He's right. He's right.
Oh,
because
man.
the really good stuff is funky and soulful, and it really moves you. And that's what we noticed. I can get the same type of electronic artists, and they can bring their music over, and it just don't have that same. It just don't have that same emotion.
We got some gutter in it.
Yes. And a lot of times, I used to let my nephews, and you let kids. Kids are the best test.
True.
Because they're not gonna lie. No, because if they like it, they just bump into it. They don't care how crazy it might sound, you know.
That's true.
But yeah, that's what I pride myself on, because we don't. This ain't something that we just do really quick. I pride myself on just the way the sounds is made. I like to program sounds, so it takes me a while to come up with the bass line, the sound, all of that. That to me, it's got to be funky. I just came and turned this on before I did the interview. I hadn't heard it since yesterday. It's got to be like when you hit play, boom, you want to be like.
It's got to punch you in the face.
Yeah. And if they don't do that, then I have to start all over. Like, take that part out, start all over.
So do you like when you make something and it gets the cutting floor, so to speak, do you ever revisit those cuts, or do you just
that's what I've been doing. A lot of the stuff that I have been working on, it came from an old computer, and I just grabbed a lot of them songs and just really listened to them. It's like, now after years, now I know what that needs, you know, and that's what I did, and refined them, fixed them up, and that's how I end up creating so many different things and stuff. No, I try to I won't throw them away. I'll just come back to them and visit them on another time. But one thing that I do, I spent a lot of time programming, maybe 3 days, but I'm not going to spend a lot of time it's not going to be any much time. I'm going to record this vocal, probably in the next 2 days, and it's done. And then I move on to the next project.
So you don't just like take forever and forever. You get that groove, that vibe, and
you ain't got to do that. It's a lot of people that engineering and all of that, and it's like, hey man, I know how it should sound because I listen to a lot of other people's music, and it's like it just don't take all that. A lot of people in Detroit, they spend so much time with excuses on, man, I'm gonna be getting my album out. I'm still working on it. You're still working on it for like what, 2 years?
Right.
You know, it just don't take all that. It don't. If you can do it, you can do it. You know, if you can't, you can't. It don't take all that.
I was gonna ask you to give some advice, but it sounds like you just did.
Yeah, it don't. You know what? More or less, you just gotta have confidence. Cause I mean, there was a lot of people that didn't like our stuff when we first started taking cassettes around to Juan Atkins. Juan Atkins was like, man, it's corny. That was because it was 4 miles when we first started. We didn't have a lot of equipment. And, you know, we took it as like, oh my God. It wasn't like we was hurt. It was like, oh man, he's telling us something. We got to work on it. So back to the drawing board. And a lot of people now, that's what they won't do. They won't critique themselves. Just because you can make music don't mean it's good. You know, you got to listen. Like I listened to that before this interview, and I was like, hey, that's funky. And I had to say to myself, it's better than the original version. You know, that's good. That's good, because I know it's going to get some airplay in there. That's another thing. Detroit techno is a hustle. When you're doing that type of stuff, that's going to help me get more things happening over there. Plus, it creates a relationship with that artist. So if I need some questions answered, they can find out things for me. It's a great hustle. And that's one thing for Detroit. You got to still be on your hustle and grind and know how to hustle. Yeah, for real. You got to be hustling.
But that is so true. But the hustle is real and the game is real. But what's best is what you said in that, the relationship building, because once they accept you, the floodgates is wide open for you. It's so amazing. I mean, even with my show, like I had you guys on when in my second year, when we were all hanging out at Submerge, and you guys were there. And I'm still here. It's like I'm going into 7 years now. It's like, wow, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, because you did what a lot of people, this is what I'm saying about a lot of Detroit artists. The ones who last, that's because they have relationships. The ones that don't last, they want to be this whole underground and not know all what's going on. You don't build relationships, so you have nothing to build on to take you to the next level or to keep you around. You'd rather be that guy, man, I'm still working on my album. You still working on your music, man? Like, yeah, I'm not ready for people to hear it. Okay, you keep being that guy, and that's why you'll get left behind.
Because you got to put it out there. I mean, take a chance, because you just, hey, let's take a chance. Yeah.
Or do it yourself. Mike Banks is another person. He's like, Key, man, once you do your own label, man, then people have respect for you, because all these artists giving you stuff, they can't tell you nothing because I'm paying for it. I'm paying for your stuff. So it's like, it better be good. It better be to my liking. And don't expect, if it don't sell, who you going to blame? You can't, maybe it just wasn't that good.
But that's interesting. We're going to take another quick break. And I want to come back, and I do want to talk about the importance of the relationships and stepping outside of your comfort zone, right? So we're gonna touch on that a little bit, and I think that you have enough experience to really bring some really good information about that. So this is Carlita with K1, Optic Nerve, Aux 88. You know, it's just our AUX mind, man. We'll be right back.
I am Eric Sabri, your Wayne County Treasurer, informing you that the Wayne County Treasurer's Office is now again open to the public. To adhere to social distancing guidelines, visits to the office must be by appointment only. To make an appointment, visit the Treasurer's Office website at treasurer.waynecounty.com. And for the safety of everyone, a face covering is required. Even though we are not foreclosing on any properties in 2020, I encourage taxpayers to continue making payments to avoid foreclosure in the future. This can be done online at treasurer.waynecounty.com, by visiting a DivDat kiosk located near you, by using the Wayne County mobile app, by phone, or by mailing payments to the office. If you need to visit our office, you can set up an appointment on our website, where you can also obtain kiosk locations and other valuable information. You can email us at taxinfo@waynecounty.com or call us at 313-224-5990 to set up an appointment or for further assistance. We look forward to helping you.
You are In My House, hosted by T. Carlita, where the true stories are told and great music is played.
We are back, Welcome again to the Optic Nerve Studio. This is our virtual out the house experience. We are staying safe and we are making sure that we are doing what we have to do to stay in compliance with what's going on in our state for sure, and for the most part the entire world, because all networks are utilizing social platforms as this to do interviews now. I mean, CNN and all of them are doing it. So we're just trying to stay in compliance. I could have easily came over there, but then I had to wear a mask and it wouldn't.
Yeah, this is a bad time for all that. People, you can't forget about it.
No,
people forgetting about it.
They got too comfortable when the heat kicked in, didn't they?
Yeah.
But that's okay. But let's talk about something that's very important that you mentioned before in the last segment. We're talking about relationship building. And I want you to speak to the importance of the relationship building, and the most important thing to the new generation. Talk to them how to even build the relationships. Some people, example, they'll get caught up in a trending click. Oh, they got it going on, this. And then they get locked in there, and then they wonder why they can't, go anywhere else. Talk about relationships and the importance of, being cautious out here, because I know you have been burnt in your career. So let's talk about that.
For me, I'll just say it was all a learning experience. When we first got signed, I thought like, okay, you just give everything to that label and they do all the work for you. Then I quickly learned, I'm like, no, they don't really know. They might not know really that much about us, because when we first started, we were a band, and we were like, hey, we want to be a band. But when you sign to a label, you got to create that relationship where it's a give and go. You can't just go in having everything your way. So what I learned was, when I got my first trip over in '95, I went out. I got my own posters made. I got my own business cards made. Even though we had management and everything, I was like, I'm not gonna fall into that trap. When you go somewhere and people speaking for you. I didn't let that happen. When I went over, I met some people, gave them business cards, gave them some posters, and I have relationships with those people to this day. So I started realizing, you know what? They want to know, hey, you need somebody to do your art. Okay, I found out that I know how to do it. So I started getting relationships to learn things from those people. What do you do? How do you do this? I was always going to the label and say, well, when you do the artwork for the label, what do you use for doing that? Well, you got to learn Adobe Photoshop. I was in college. I went here and took Adobe Photoshop. I took the class. So that's what I mean when I was saying, like, establish a relationship, but also establish these relationships so that you can learn the business and learn everything that goes with it. Because you might not be able to do everything, but you should know a little bit about what's going on. So you can't use that excuse like everybody uses, oh, I got burnt and this happened and that happened. Same thing with me and Lou from Scan 7. Eddie Folks was the first person who gave us the information on publishing. Eddie Folks was like, look, fool, I'm gonna tell y'all this, man. If y'all don't do it, don't say I didn't offer to help. And me and Lou was writing it down. What you had to do to get your publishing. I had my publishing since '95. So every track I've ever done, I own all my music, no matter if it's on other people's labels and everything. That's what I mean about creating relationships. Created a relationship with Eddie, and I got something from Eddie. And Eddie was able to get stuff from me. So don't try to be, just because you got signed, don't start thinking you're so high and mighty you don't have to talk to anybody. No, you need to establish that relationship to be able to talk for yourself. And I even learned a lot of times with people, like, for example, when they've asked us to play the festival, they used to get mad because we have a booking agent. You got to go through that booking agent. They would get mad and say, why we got to do that when y'all right here in Detroit? Like, no, because when we go overseas, we get paid a certain amount of money. We're doing the same show here, so you're going to treat us the same way.
That's right.
Those type of relationships, we had to let somebody else in. But most of the time, I was always that person. No matter what we're doing, I gave that card away because it's established now. I can call on those people now. Like, I can get questions answered. That's why relationships are so important. Don't be that guy that lets everybody handle your business. Learn a little bit about it.
Right. So with the booking agents, so how, with the way things are now, everything is social media, email, virtual space and things. So how does one go about knowing how to even get an agent?
Well, how we always did it was like, we would just be like, we'll see somebody, another artist, once again, relationships. Be like, hey man, who's your booking agent? And if you got a good relationship with somebody, you can ask them and they don't be like, hey man, I ain't giving you no hookups. A lot of people in Detroit are actually nice, but they can be cliquey too. Because you ain't gonna give them something, you ain't getting nothing back.
Right.
Mike Banks was very good with that. Mike was always giving information, but people don't take what he give them. If he gives you this information and you don't work with it, then, you know, whatever. But that's how we did it. It was pretty much word of mouth. And then we'd be like, hey, who is your agent? Because you'll look and see how many dates that person have. And next thing you know, it's like, oh, you hit that person up. Oh, I'm familiar with you guys. I can book you. Everything is word of mouth because they try to act like they don't watch what you're doing.
Right.
Everybody in Detroit watches each other and knows what we're doing. Everybody does it, you know. So it was pretty much, I watched everything that was going on. And plus, I was always a person to ask questions. I'm always asking questions. They be like, damn, man, it's like, can we just talk about the music? No, I want to know how you do that. And how did you do this? And what keyboard did you use? Always asking questions.
That's good. That's important because you do have to be, no matter where you are on the scale of the business, you still need to learn. It's a learning experience. You learn something new every time you talk to somebody. It's something new all the time. And it's ever changing and we're fast paced and you know, a lot of the equipment that you had in the past, you don't even use it anymore. Like you said, they can get the laptop and the Fruity Loops and ask them to do something. But you know, that's a starting point. You will have to evolve into, you know, something similar to what you have, but you don't have to. Because
no,
do them
I would say that.
Them beats.
Honestly, there's some people doing music that sounds better than mine. Some people just got that knack of doing it out of that little small. You can do the same thing.
Right.
I just, you know, I'm from the old school. I used to have a lot of synthesizers and stuff. So I started melting digital and analog together. Okay. And for me, this is what a culmination of all those years came to. I know I need something. I needed a place. I realized with studios, because we used to have like synthesizers on. I've been to people's studios and they have keyboards all on the floor. You know, I need to have, I'm a person who's very organized. So I have to have everything organized. When I'm organized, I'm focused. And I wanted to have something that's pleasing so I can just sit back and relax. And I've never been able to do that when we used to do music. We come in the studio, we're working and everybody all confined together. You know, no, I need something where I can listen and just sit back and relax. So, I mean, that's what works for me. Everybody's different. But I never put down people who, just because they're using a certain program or whatever. No, I've heard some stuff that amazing. There's some guys who have they just have the ear, you know, for making sounds and creating. So it doesn't matter what you use.
It's a gift. Some people are just very gifted. Yeah. You know, some people are just super talented. And I mean, Detroit, we are still, I mean, as far as music, we break the molds. We just get it going and the world is kind of caught up to us a little bit. But I still feel that our production is still up there in comparison to a lot because we're very competitive.
We're very competitive. It used to be a time, I remember early on in techno music, like I was from the school where when I first got signed, when we were trying to get signed, we used to take our tapes down to Metroplex. And that's when they had Metroplex, Transmat, and KMS all next to each other. And you know, you're not taking no tape down there because you'll get laughed at. Everybody's sitting around, you might leave and everybody's sitting around like cracking up like, nah, you gotta bring it. And that's what I always liked. It was this competitive, you know, being competitive and everything. And you had to bring it. It made you work harder. So a lot of people still have that. That's why I'm like, man, like when I see Moody Man, we always see Kenny Dixon in the airport. It's hilarious. We go in the airport and we just be sitting down talking and he'd be like, yeah, man, I see y'all here doing stuff. And Kenny's just the coolest dude. But it's amazing how the time go by. Next thing you know, it's a 10-year period again before you see him. Yeah. Same thing with Kelly Hand. We saw Kelly Hand, I think it was last year we was in the airport. I hadn't seen Kelly in like, I would say like 14 years. Yeah. You know, it's like everybody's still doing it and there's a respect level. So I love to to run into people like that. You'd be like, man, we still doing it. And we actually talk about that. You know, the really good people, they realize this is a gift, you know, and you should be proud of it and, you know, appreciate it. I'm still like that. It's like, I still can't believe, you know, I'm from the east side. I'm from like basically the hood. I was just a nerdy guy in the hood, you know, to be able to do this. And then, you know, people always say that to me, man. So, how'd you pay for all them trips, dude? I'm like, man, I don't pay for no trips. They fly you over for real. They're still asking me to DJ their parties. It's like, dude, I did that like 30 years ago. Hey, man, can you doing any weddings? I'm like,
no. Oh God, wedding photography, wedding DJ. Oh no, please no. That is not for me. That is not for me. I'm a photographer, and they be asking me to do what I'm like, no, I don't do no weddings. It's too much to do at a wedding.
Tommy from AUX88, BJ, and Tony.
His wedding was so beautiful. Oh my God, that was just so beautiful, y'all. That was so beautiful.
What's that?
Tom.
Oh, his wedding.
Oh
yeah. He's a lot more happier now. He got with somebody that he knew. Like with my wife, I knew her. Actually, Tommy been knowing it just as long as I have. When we first started doing AUXA in middle school.
Wow.
That long. So he married somebody that was like the same thing where he knew him way back. So you know that was a lot of fun. Especially we had a lot of fun. We put together this new the Counterparts AUX88 album that we put out in December. It's been repressed like 5 times.
Wow.
And that's a blessing, and it's our label. See, we finally figured it out. It's like we want all these other labels. That's our label. We pressed it. We get 100% of the profit. You know, people are paying for that. Distributors are paying for it, you know, up front. You know, we never had it like that. That's because we put that time in, establish those relationships. Even when I go overseas, I always start by Hard Wax. When I go to Berlin, I go to Hard Wax Records. If I go to Scotland, I go to Rubber Dub Records. Relationships. You know, and those people will always help you the same way, you know, like I feel like one thing I really do hate this about Detroit techno. I will say this. If you call a brother from Detroit, they is not gonna call you back. And I know you experienced that. I could call. I'm in a group called Fusion. Me and a guy from Italy. His name is Max Durant. I can hit Max up right now in a text message, and he will hit me right back. And he in Italy.
Yeah. On 6-hour different time zone.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's a different mentality though. It's like a lot of guys be like, nah, I'm a little too busy. It's like, dude, you're right here in Detroit. You're right here in Detroit, you know.
Yes. We have to do better on that. We have to, but you know what? One thing now, 2020, pretty much everybody's on equal playing field. So, you know, if you have not established those relationships, I hope that y'all take this advice and take this word of encouragement to establish those relationships, because that is the key to longevity. That's the key to your success. That's the key to anything. So without a relationship, you just existing and floating through time.
Yep. One thing I like to say too is we had the pleasure of me and Tom and the rest of the guys. I mean, we used to listen to Cybertron when Mojo was on and everything.
Yeah.
And we never thought that we would be doing this kind of music. And then it kind of just came easy to us. We were able to program and stuff. And then to actually know why and be friends with them, it's enabled us to meet other people, like the Egyptian Lover. We're very good friends with Greg, who's the Egyptian Lover. I'm really good friends with the unknown DJ out of LA who was part of the X-Men.
Yeah.
Also Arabian Prince, who used to be in NWA. I just had a phone call early this week because they was just teasing me like, man, how many screens do you need in your studio? Looking at my Instagram page, and they'll leave messages like that. It's like, that is so cool. And these are people that we were listening to their records and was like, man, we're just envious. Now they friends.
What I do like about this pandemic and everybody being at home and working from home, we have been able to really get to know our artists. You know, not just my show, me and you right here doing this, but the mainstream artists. you know, the verses thing is so cool because like Jill Scott, you get to be like in her space, you know, baby, when they do that baby face and
I saw that.
When
That
they
was
do
good.
those things. And my favorite one though was Beanie Man and I forgot the other guy's name, but they were so good. But it was just that we are able to get a little more personal with your fans. You
And
know,
you kind of see really how they are. Did you notice when the Babyface one, like he was so kind of classy. He was real
low key guy.
Low key classy.
Yeah.
And then I was amazed at Teddy Riley. You the man made all these hits and you can't get your stuff to play right.
But you know what's so funny? I was talking to my son about that. And I said, but that just goes to show you that is not his genius. His genius is writing it, producing it. No. But I need somebody else to get my mic right. You know,
there you go.
That's a whole other department.
No.
You know, everybody's not a prince where you could just go in and do everything.
No.
But
I really wonder what he would have, like now, what would he have been doing?
Man, I just think about that too. I said it's so interesting that when you think about the minds of a prince and you think of the minds of others that have gone on, but him especially, it's like, wow, what the heck would he be doing now? I know he's got to be pissed off at all this images of his music all over the place because you know that was an absolute no.
Yeah.
But it's all good. I mean, the music is so important, and however you have to get it, just like we said, just make it good, please.
Mm-hmm.
Make it good. Whatever you have to do to make it, just make it good. Make it danceable. Make it penetrate the soul in somehow, right? So it's got to be approved by you first, right? Because if you don't like it, then how can you expect anybody else to like it?
Yeah, but you got to be, like I said, you got to be critical of yourself. And that's the problem with a lot of people that's trying to be musicians now. Yeah. They really think, I did it. So, no, it's like, it can always be better. That's why I'm always leery with working with people in the studio. I work with a few people and it'd be like, the first thing they come up with, hey, that's it right there. I'm like, no, that's the first time. You know, let's see where we can take this. You know, it's more than just that, you know. Sometimes you have to be like, oh, yeah, that's better. You got to work at it. So that's why I think a lot of people who have these laptops and stuff, they don't realize it's like, I did it, so it's good. Well, if you really believed in it,
put it out.
No.
What you waiting on? Let us hear it. No.
There you go.
K1, do you have any final words that you would like to say before I let you get back to work?
Well, I just want to say thank you for the nice interview. It's always a pleasure to see you when I'm out, which I'm not out much.
Me either.
Thank you for the support and everything you do for everybody. I really appreciate it. And I just want to say, hey, I'm proud to be part of the Detroit Techno family. And I wish nothing but great things for everybody who's doing this. And hopefully you don't have to suffer through, you know, any deaths and stuff with this corona. We can get this together. Everybody, be safe. Like I said in my videos, please be safe and wear your mask. Yeah. Don't take nothing to wear a mask. Just wear a mask. Stop that damn complaining and put a damn mask on.
Yes, thank you so much.
Well, that concludes this week's episode of the In My House Techno Music Show. I am your host, T. Carlita, and I hope you enjoyed the conversation with Keith Tucker and the new music by the Detroit Filthiest, which is out on vinyl. Now let's conclude this episode with another new release coming to you from the iconic Implant label. Here's Save the Children, the Detroit mix by Robert Hood and Floor Plan. Until next time, this is T. Carlita saying, when you go out, wear your mask, stay safe, and love one another. You are In My House, hosted by T. Carlita, where the true stories are told and great music is played.
the children. Save 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 the children.
Who gonna save the children? 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 Who gonna save the children?
Can I get a witness here? 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 Can I get a witness here?
Who gonna save the children?
Can I get a witness here?
Who gonna save the children?
Can I get a witness here?
Who gonna save the children?
Can I get a witness here?
Who gonna save the children?
Can I get a witness here?
Who gonna
Save the children.
Who gonna save the children? Who gonna
Save the children.
Who gonna save the children? Who gonna
Save the children.
Who gonna save the children? Who gonna
Save the children.
Who gonna save the children? Who gonna
Save the children.
Who gonna save the children? Who gonna
Save the children.
Who gonna save the children? Who gonna
Save the children.
Who gonna save the children? Who gonna
Save the children.
Who gonna save the children?
Save the children. Save the children.
You are
Save
In My House, hosted by T. Carlita, where the true stories are told and great music is played.